I apologize for that. We are back live again. Right now, I just had to make sure all the connections were on. Just trying this new setting here, so I apologize for any inconvenience for everybody out there. But we are going live, and we do have a whole lot to really talk about. And it's going to be quite exciting. Alright. I think we are finally good here. It's funny, I just had this update too with this camera. Hopefully it's a bit better here. And here we are. How you doing, FanBam? I'm Chris Mizo. We talk about PC and tech on this channel. And there are a couple things that I do want to talk about. First, I gotta say it's really exciting that it's finally here. RTX 5090s are getting more in stock. Specifically ZOTAC, MSI, and PNY. Mainly those three. Haven't seen really too many Gigabyte too often. ASUS has come in here and there, but mostly those three brands you can really rely on, and you can even get down in the description box down below. So I appreciate everybody's patience who is just joining into this, and I do apologize for any delay for anyone that was waiting for this stream. So I do apologize on that behalf here. So I'm just going to go here real quick and just get rid of this other feed. It's kind of a mess how everything is right now in my studio, because I had to kind of restart and kind of reiterate everything here. And let me make sure my mic's on. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Go here. Let me get rid of some of this stuff here. Okay, we're live there. These ones are no good. Welcome everybody. What's up, Abrawl? Welcome. Welcome to this live. I'm just about to get started here. I'm just making sure everything is connected correctly here. Okay, now I see what it did here. All right. Let me just switch up this thumbnail. I apologize for any inconvenience. What's up, Dragon Master? Welcome. Are you excited about this whole Nintendo Switch 2 launch, or are you excited about the RTX 5090s? It seems like things are starting to finally go our way, because it's been a long while. It's been quite the mess. I'm just gotta change up this title here. And there we go. Perfect. Oh, I appreciate it, Dragon Master. I do really appreciate it. Are you here for the trying to get a RTX 5090? Are you trying to get a Switch? Just curious. I gotta talk about some drama too that's going on in the whole with the whole GPU market. It's quite the mess. Don't know if anybody has heard out there, but currently there has been some thermal paste oozing from Gigabyte's RTX 50 series, specifically the 5080. Apparently they had a vertical setup in their PC, and it started about a month. For a good month it was in there, and then it started actually oozing some thermal paste outside of the GPU, which is pretty unbelievable. But thank you. I appreciate the support as always. For anybody who is just joining in, I'm Chris Mizo. I talk about PC and tech. And if you are interested in joining the free giveaway, I do have it down in the description box down below. I apologize for the inconvenience earlier. It was a little bit of a mess of a stream earlier because I had a new program set up for it. And it's kind of finicky, but I'm glad finally everything kind of linked up. I had to end up rebooting the PC and everything, unfortunately. But if you have NVIDIA or if you have AMD, there is current drivers out there right now. Now, on the first part, I do have to say for the NVIDIA side, specifically, it is I think it's 576.06, if I'm not mistaken. That is the current driver. but unfortunately it does have quite a bit of issues. I can say when I was playing Monster Hunter's Wild, I noticed that it kept crashing every once in a while, and this is on a RTX 5090, and it was having issues. So I had to end up actually downgrading the firmware or the driver in order for the compatibility to play it. Luckily, there is a hotfix available from NVIDIA, so make sure you do update it, especially if you do have the newer driver from April 16th. Again, that's driver 576.06. The new hotfix is 576.15. So make sure to get that hotfix, especially if you have an NVIDIA card and a 50 series. So it seems like drivers have been hard to get. Ironically, I remember when AMD was like this, when they were having issues. And it's all right, Dragon Master. I do appreciate your time. I always appreciate you coming in to watch. But I do got to say, it is a bit crazy about this whole NVIDIA mess. Unfortunately, they are running into driver issues, and they do have current issues with going on with the thermal paste. But again, that specifically could be from the AIB, and it's a Gigabyte Aorus Master. And again, this is the RTX 5080 that this is happening to. Now, for everybody that's just coming in and is looking for a RTX 5090, they certainly are coming much more in stock. They are kind of in pretty specific areas. I found whatever I could, and I do have it in the description box down below if you are looking to purchase a RTX 5090. Right now, the ZOTAC ones are a little bit easier to get, specifically their higher end one of their 5090. Forget their title for it, but that's in stock on Newegg. In Walmart, they have PNY in stock, and they do also have MSI's, what is it? The MSI's Venom, I think it's, I forget how you say that word that they have. But it's not like their real great one. It's not a Supreme or anything like that, but it's just kind of like the standard F5090 from MSI. The Ventus, that's what I was trying to think of. It's MSI's Ventus RTX 5090. That is also becoming more in stock. It is the overclock version at least. So they are in specific areas. One's in Walmart, one's on Newegg, and I believe the other one's on Amazon possibly. Again, they're all kind of scattered, but at least it's becoming more popular and more in stock, which is great news for everybody out there who is trying to get a 50 series. Now, with everyone who is looking for the RX 9070s or the RX 9070s XTs, they are becoming more readily available, and they do have a Sapphire Nitro Plus RX 9070 coming, which is very similar to the XT. Unfortunately, the Sapphire Nitro Plus, they don't really have a dual BIOS, so if you are looking to flash the AMD BIOS to it, unfortunately you cannot. So that is the one negative side about it, I do have to say, about the AMD BIOS. I mean, when it comes to the Sapphire Nitro. Now, if you're looking for something like XFX, Tai Chi's, ASRock's one, they also can have dual BIOS. Specifically, you want to look for something that has dual and silent BIOS. That way, if you are thinking of flashing and flashing the AMD BIOS in there, so that way you can kind of get more performance out of it, those are the ones you want to look for. The reason why you don't want to get one with the single BIOS is because if you risk any type of corruption, then that side of the BIOS could be corrupt compared to just having just one whole GPU practically bricked, and then it would be pretty much a pain to try to revive it back. But those are the current issues when it comes with, at least on the NVIDIA side. And AMD did announce that they are coming out with a RX 9060, and they are also coming out with a RX 9070 GRE. Unfortunately, it's going to be pushed out till later this year. I'm really hoping that during Computex in May, they are supposed to announce something big gaming-wise, but hopefully it's something more like a 9080. Wouldn't that be amazing if they did decide to come out with it? I appreciate it, Segoy TV. I thank everybody who was standing by for their time. This stream was kind of a mess trying to get this ready, but I do appreciate you coming in. I'm glad that you're here. And another really exciting thing that is coming is Nintendo Switch 2. Now, personally for me, I feel like Nintendo Switch 2 is a little bit high on the price, especially for what it comes with. Now, it does have a LCD display. I believe the screen's up to, I know it's around 7 to 8 inches. And it does have specifically what's inside of the Nintendo Switch 2 is NVIDIA's Turing chipset, which is practically the 20 series, but customized to the Nintendo Switch. What I'm really curious about is how the dock is, because it's can upscale to 4K 30 at least. So I'm curious what is quite in it, if it's more like an upscaler, because I don't think they have any GPU or anything like that in there. Be a great idea if they did, because then they could really take advantage of hardware that way. Kind of like how they have the external graphics cards where you can plug in, especially that ASUS features them on their laptops or on the ASUS ROG Ally. Now, if Nintendo did something like that, that would be awesome, but more than likely, I don't think they're focused on that side of it. They're more focused on their new features that they have, such as the mouse gestures that you can do with the Joy-Cons. And it's supposed to be a lot more magnetic, a lot more portable. And if you are interested in it, it is available for pre-orders tonight. I do have the link down below. You can't get it until midnight. But the good news is if you do plan to get it and you do purchase it from the link that I do have down below, that you'll be able to get it on launch day for sure, and it will be at your house then, depending on your time zone. So if you are in a time zone, it doesn't matter the time zone, but as long as if you order before, I think it's like June 2nd or something like that, but I have to double check it. But if you order before June 2nd, then you can be able to get it in the morning of the launch date of the Nintendo Switch 2. And of course, they do have the bundled version where it does have Mario Kart World, which is always a great classic. But again, I feel like it's a bit high on the price if you buy it separately. So it's just better to get the bundle if you do decide to get a Nintendo Switch 2. Let me know what you guys think of Nintendo Switch 2, because I'm kind of curious about your thoughts on it. Now, I think it's going to be it's going to be a good device no matter what. It's going to sell. Doesn't matter if what Nintendo does, really. Because the thing is with Nintendo, I usually expect a lot more innovation when it comes from them, especially just how they progressed with their systems. There's always something that's very different about it. But this system, to me personally, it doesn't have the Nintendo magic to me personally. But for all those who do want to get it, I could perfectly understand, because Nintendo does have great titles. They have Mario, they have Zelda, they have Pokemon, they have all types of titles that are a ton of fun to play. I just hope they don't decide to go through the whole $80 route. Now, what I can say is that Nintendo is going to, the only one that I know is $80, is going to be Mario Kart World. Everything else is at the regular $70 price range. So hopefully that wasn't just like them just testing out to see how the market would receive that. Because if they marked all the other games, such as their new Donkey Kong and everything, at $70, maybe that's a good indication they know that's not going to be a very popular price. And Mario Kart World better be really amazing for $80 extra if you don't get it with the Switch 2. But the more exciting thing, I gotta say, going back to the PC, welcome Plano, good to see you. I'm glad to see you here. You should have seen the stream earlier. It was quite the mess. It was trying to get everything kind of organized here, and then it was like a kind of hectic. So I ran a little bit late today. I'm about 10 minutes late. Hopefully nobody minds it, but I'm glad that everybody is here. I am happy to announce that the RTX 5090s are more in stock now, especially within the past couple days. I would say it's getting more steady now, especially in places like Walmart and Newegg. They do have them more now. It's not going to be every single 5090 you can think of, not every single brand. They do have specifically ZOTAC, they have PNY, and they also do have MSI. They don't have Gigabyte just quite yet. They don't have ASUS quite yet. They don't have a couple brands really out there, but those three they do. Now, the easier one to get is ZOTAC off of Newegg and PNY off of Walmart. The other one's kind of tricky, which is the MSI Ventus. It's like on and off, but you can definitely catch it if you get the right timing on. So the good news is that it is becoming more available for those who are trying to purchase a RTX 5090 to up their game. Now, I can say when I was testing out the RTX 5090 so far, I just, out of curiosity, one of the first things I did was check out the ROPs. They certainly did have all the ROPs, so I was happy with that. And then I went to go check out a game just like New Vegas, like Fallout New Vegas, just to see if it would play it. And surprisingly, it did open up. I didn't have any issues. I didn't get any messages about no support. But I didn't really get to really play. I just opened it up to see if it would, and it did. And I was able to get in-game. But I'm more curious if I play around in New Vegas, if it would crash or something like that. But again, that kind of drives me back over to the drivers here when it comes to, so it kind of drives me back over to the drivers here when it comes to the whole issues with NVIDIA right now. If you guys are experiencing any problems with the new one, 576.06, now there is a hotfix for it, 576.15. You can get it off of NVIDIA's website. Personally, I was having issues with the 5090 when I was playing games such as Monster Hunter's Wilds. I was just trying to go through like certain scenes or cutscenes. It would end up freezing up, crashing, and then I was trying to figure out what the exact reason why it was. And it turned out it was driver error, and I had to end up actually rolling back to driver. And this is prior to the actual hotfix. So I haven't downloaded the hotfix just quite yet. And once I do, I will test it. But I did manage to get a good amount of benchmarks in. And I'm curious with it, with the fourth fan that's currently on, as you see in the background. I'm going to remove it. It kind of really looks tacky, I feel. And I just wonder if it really does make that much of a temperature difference on the RTX 5090. So it's I'm just really curious to see how that's going to turn out. And for everybody out there, and who wants to get either the RTX 5090, the RX 9070 XT, they are going to have a lot more in stock for sure. It's showing up now, especially this past couple days. So make sure you get your chance to go out there. If you're interested in any of them, I do have it in the description box down below, and they should be available. Now, if they end up running out, it's just going to be very temporary because they are certainly going to get a lot more. And you should see the eBay prices probably drop down significantly even now if you take a look at it, because I'm pretty sure that all the scalpers are going to get pretty pissed. Unfortunately, for the used GPU market, I do got to say, for the RTX 4090, compared to, say, the RTX 5090, the price is still relatively high. The RTX 5090, you're going to spend at least over $2,700, which means it didn't really help the used GPU market on the RTX 4090 side. So if you do try to find a RTX 4090, it's still going to be quite expensive. More than likely, that price will hold at its $1,500 range, because again, the RTX 5090 is nearly double the price of a 4090 when you really think about it. So it's going to really be tough to get a really good bargain on a RTX 4090. If you do find one about $1,000, then that's actually a really great deal to go for. But if you can't find it, and you do find 4090s that are probably going to be the $1,600 range, that's unfortunately going to be the new average when it comes in the used GPU market. It's hard for me to see it drop any further down unless there's a mass influx of people out there who just has 5090s, which I really don't see. Same thing unless NVIDIA does come out with their supers, and eventually they will. But again, we won't see that until next year. What I am more curious about is what's going to happen during Computex, because AMD is supposed to unveil something new, and it is supposed to be something that's going to be great for gaming. I have hopes, but we all do have hopes, especially if AMD decides to drop something like RX 9080. That would be quite amazing if they did. That would certainly shake up the market a little bit. And Intel is also rumored to come out with their own GPU, which is a Battle Mage, like their high-end one. Apparently, this high-end Battle Mage that they're supposed to be coming out with is G7. So it's going to be even competitive against something like AMD. Unfortunately, AMD, we can't really expect G7 until probably the next year or so with AMD, unless they really want to go full throttle and really compete against NVIDIA and really compete against, well, Intel is more of a alleged source. So until Intel actually officially comes out with their GPU, and if it is actually really competitive, it's supposed to be up to 24 gigabytes allegedly as well. And if they do come out with that, that would be quite amazing, as we do need a lot more fierce competition, as we have too much of a dominant competition from NVIDIA. So let me know what you guys think. So, oh, what's up, Kate? What's up, Katsa? Good to see you in here. But everybody, I gotta say for sure, make sure when you do purchase a GPU that, especially if you're thinking of purchasing something like a RTX 5090 and you're new into PC building, you really don't have to go all the way and max out a RTX 5090. I tell this to everybody because you can really build a PC for a lot cheaper. You could build one for well under 2,000 if you really wanted to. I do have also really interesting news about DDR4 as well, because Samsung, they also are planning to stop producing DDR4. So everybody who is on AM4 boards, unfortunately, they're going to go more to the to DDR5, and they are moving on to other different type of memory drivers. So they're not going to be focused on DDR4 since it's a format that they feel that everybody has moved off of. So if you do have AM4, it's a good idea to, and you have a RAM that you do want to upgrade to, it's more than likely a good idea to get it soon, because then that's going to get more expensive, especially if you do try to get DDR4 new. That, or if you are thinking of building a PC, it might be actually a lot cheaper to do a AM5 build now and just to upgrade to DDR5 and PCI Express 5, so that way you're a little bit more up to date. And they do already have focus on PCI Express 6, but again, that's something we won't see until the next couple years, because we should be on AM5 for a little while, because they are also going to produce the Ryzen 10,000 series chipset also on there as well. That's going to be the last generation of Ryzen. And unfortunately, I do have to say, Intel is going to do this really weird thing. Let me adjust the lighting real quick, guys. I see it's a little bit dark here. There we go. Oh, that should be a lot better. You can see me now. But so as I was getting back to it, Intel's doing something really strange, I gotta say. Remember how we just got that Z890 board? Unfortunately, they're already thinking of moving away from it and moving to, because currently what that uses is LGA 1851. They're thinking of going to LGA 1957, I think it is. It's something like that. It's an odd number. But they're thinking of moving and changing up the socket again. So within the next year, it brings that board practically irrelevant now, if that is the case. And this is going to be because Intel is focused on their new processors, which are supposed to be very competitive against AMD. But again, Intel, it's like every time I hope that they are going to do well and be more competitive, somehow they just end up royally messing it up. And I don't know how they do it, but they are very good at just messing up their processors or their chipsets, I gotta say. Because I doubt anybody in here, if anybody in here is a Intel guy, let me know. I'm just curious what your thoughts about that is, especially if you are on a Z890 chipset. So, Gasa says, I don't trust Intel with higher end cards as we know what happens with their latest top-end CPUs. I do agree. What do you think about Okino's Aqua 3 White for $70? And I am an Intel guy. Plano. Yes, I forgot you were Plano. For the Aqua 3 White, let me take a look at that. I'm not too sure about that one. The Okino's, let's take a look at that. Because you piqued my curiosity here. The Aqua 3 White. Oh, okay. It's a beautiful case. $70, that's not bad at all. It does fit up to MATX. So Type C. Let me take a look at the ports and everything too. So let me share it with you guys just to give you an idea of what Fiery was talking about here. And let me just share the studio here. And just adjusting to this new setting here. Just give me a second on the vertical side. I apologize. And it looks something like this, guys. So it is Aqua 3. It's actually a really good deal. I wonder, and the airflow looks pretty decent. So it looks like it's all encased. Mostly all glass up here on the top. And to be clear, I don't work at Intel. Yes. That is, I do have a ASUS ROG Ally that is on the table. At which I do got to share with you guys. It's definitely worth it if you want to compare it to Nintendo Switch 2 and everything. But to get back here on the Aqua 3, it looks like a pretty decent case. My only concern is I wonder how the airflow is up here. Because it looks like mostly the airflow is through the bottom. So I guess you could put your fans here. Mostly your intake fans, and kind of raise it out, as this would act as the exhaust side, as yeah, the figure practically shows that too. Yeah, it's a decent case. I'm just wondering, I'm more concerned about the RAM, because I wonder if the RAM is going to get enough airflow, because usually it's good to have fans in the front because the fans would blow directly into the RAM to keep it cool. But unless you get, like say like the Gigabyte boards, where some of them actually have a little accessory, an extra fan on it, where you could actually sit right on top of the RAM, and it could actually help it keep cool. It's not a bad case at all. Just I'd be a little bit concerned about airflow, just because of the way it's set up. Because you, just like here's a good indication of it. You have your PSU that sits here on the bottom of it, and it looks like, I wonder if it's just that one side. But the ports are decent. They're really decent for it, and it comes with it looks like it comes with a module, which is nice to use too, especially for ARGBs. Again, it's a really decent deal. And you do have me curious about it, for sure. Because I'm just more curious about how the airflow is. So the power supply is here. Oh no, is this the power supply here? Huh. So how would it get airflow then? Yeah, that's my concern about this case. I'd be more concerned about the airflow. Because unless you could put the fans here, up on the top here, then it's just like you're not going to get too much air. I would say one I highly recommend is you got to take a look at Montech. Montech has excellent cases too. Because Montech, they actually have cheaper cases here, like the XR. This might be a better case. But it's funny, it's almost similarly designed too. But the Montech cases, I'm pretty sure the airflow is going to be a lot better. As you could, yeah, because you could actually have intake fans here on the side. Let me take a look at the other one real quick, one more time. Yeah, I would go with the Montech. I just don't really like how the airflow setup is on this. because I feel like it can't really breathe if it only has room for the power supply and the hard drives, and that's it. Maybe you can modify and put fans down there if you really like the case, but I would suggest getting a different case just because of the airflow. I might have to cut a big hole in the plastic side panel to add a 140. Yeah, I would say that too. But it would help though. It doesn't hurt to modify your PC. Always good to kind of think ahead. It's just like just like what Casa says. It's good to think way ahead. Now, if anybody ever needs help or needs any advice, also make sure to go to the Discord channel, because we always talk about PC stuff on there as well. And it's just free help, and you can just go on there and ask anybody. We all love to help you out if you do have any issues, and you can show off your builds, you can show off your benchmarks. It's a great Discord we have. We have up to about, I think, 60 members now. So make sure you join it if you haven't already. And I'm actually thinking in the nearby future, to actually do some sort of maybe some interviews on Discord. That way we can talk about like the different builds or different ideas, or kind of like almost like a tech line. And we do have a great mod who is in here. Casa is the mod of our Discord channel, so he's a really good guy. Feel free to ask him any questions and everything too. If you have any problems, I'm sure he's willing to help you out too. So I gotta say, join the Discord channel, and also don't forget, for anybody out there who hasn't joined the free giveaway, there is one that is up right now, and it's for the Samsung 990 Pro NVMe. Fortunately, the person that had wanted never answered their emails, and the same with the other person with the merch. Only got to give out 2 of the prizes. So make sure you join it. It is going on for, I think, about like 10 or 11 more days. It is down in the description box down below. Now, I do agree that with Casa about like how Nintendo is kind of tricky. Again, it's kind of expensive. If you really think about it, you're paying for the Nintendo Switch 2 $500. That's including the game, because I'll give them that. It's including Mario Kart Worlds, but it doesn't contain OLED screen, especially in 2025. You would think it would. Now, would you rather spend something like $500 on a Nintendo Switch 2, or would you rather go for something like the ASUS ROG Ally like this? And the ASUS ROG Ally you can get for practically the same price, but you have a much larger library of games, and it's really customizable. And I gotta say, it's a great device, and I love taking this with me everywhere I go, because it not only is this portable PC really can play really any game that you throw at it. It's just all about kind of like modifying the settings, and it even has like gyroscopes in here, compared to the Nintendo Switch 2, which has that weird feature of having a mouse, which is nothing new. I thought that was kind of a weird feature that they added on there. But again, for anyone who is interested in Nintendo Switch 2 pre-orders, I do have them in the description box down below. And they practically said that if you do order it at midnight, or you order it before the exact date of June 2nd, then on your time area, wherever you are, as long as if you order within that time frame, that you would be able to get the Nintendo Switch 2 during the morning of launch day, so you won't miss out on anything. Well, you have people that's actually going to end up waiting in line. Now, Steam Deck is also a great option. Steam Deck is a awesome action. Oh, it's good to see you, champ. Oh, you had an Ally too? How come you sold it? You didn't really like it too much? I can kind of understand it, because I know some people are conflicted with the Ally, as it kind of has like some people just either didn't really get to play games as much on it as they wanted to, or they felt like it just didn't reach their the needs or necessary requirements for it. But yeah, I agree. There's some people that just don't use it enough. With this one, I specifically changed out the joysticks in it. I actually changed them out to Hall effect joysticks in here. And because when you first get it, the only thing I have to say about the ASUS ROG Ally is when it comes to their joysticks, when you first get it, it's going to be quite a wobbly mess. It's not really going to be great for first-person shooters unless you really customize the different dead zones, which is possible. You still can use the original joysticks with it, but I ended up changing out them with Hall effect joysticks, so it's a lot more responsive. And but it still has that kind of weird wobbly feeling, but it is a lot more comfortable gaming on Hall effect sticks. And with the SSD, I ended up replacing it with instead of using 512, I put a 2 terabyte NVMe inside of this ASUS ROG Ally. So it is a excellent device there. No, luckily I did not have to solder the joysticks. Instead, what I did was they're practically like screws. You just remove it and you just put the new one in, and they have a ribbon cable with it too. So you just connect the ribbon cable to it, and you're practically good to go. It's just a little bit more tricky when you take it apart. I can't remember exactly when, but it's really not too bad when you do change it out. I think it's when you pull the board out and when you actually change out the joystick. Then you just got to remember which is which, really, from the left to the right. You don't want to mix them up. It's due to the, because of Hall effects, they use magnets, so you don't want it to kind of give it that, kind of that drag, that weird drag. And Costa says, on Steam Deck, you can even change the OS, although it's super finicky. Yeah, I'm really curious about how the Steam Deck is. I got to play it, but I just want to experiment more with the Steam OS. Now, I know that they've been really pushing it, that you're able to actually install it into, I think they put it inside of a Lenovo Legion Go. I'm pretty sure you could put it in the Ally if you could put it in there too. But it would be really nice if Windows would just listen to everybody out there and just decided to actually come out with a OS where it was just focused on gaming. Because where like if Steam OS actually came out with their own one where it was just focused on gaming, except that all the games would be a lot more compatible instead of just being on Linux. Just have them be more compatible with something like similar to like how Windows is. Only if they could work together. But if they did, they would come out with a great OS, and it would be a lot less issues. Drivers would be a lot more easier to work on. But instead, we have this complicated mess of Windows 11. And I wonder how Windows 12 is going to be. Because remember how they said that Windows 11 was going to be the last OS we would ever need? They said the same thing about Windows 10, but now they're already talking Windows 12. But I'm thinking about buying the FlyDigi Apex 4 controller. There is Bazi. They don't want to make anything to do with people. That's true. Oh, thanks, PC Rehab. Good to see you here. I kind of missed it. But yeah, it's an excellent AIO. I gotta say, I do really love it. It's very customizable when it comes to the ASUS Ryujin 3. And it's funny because when I went to originally go purchase this AIO, I thought it would kind of mismatch the system. But it was kind of my wife's idea. She was saying like, oh yeah, let's just get it. I think it would really help your system to stand out. And it definitely does, even though it's like the way the system looks, it's mostly like all black, but it does stand out quite a bit. And they don't, and you heard of, I did hear of it, but I've never messed with it. I can't say I've messed with it before. And I'm just curious how it is. And Casa says, they only want to add Xbox Game Bar to more devices that really don't need it. I agree. It's one of those extra things that can be removed. Because I noticed with the Xbox Game Bar, especially now, if I tried to open it up even now, it's probably not going to work. For me, it always says signing in. Because I don't really care for it. I'm not going to find a fix for it. But if you do care for it, let me know. I'll figure it out and figure out what the problem is. But it's just one of those things where they don't really need on Windows, to be honest. Because we already have Discord. We already have Steam as like, why do we need an extra OS? And it's funny because I know some people out there are really love Xbox Game Pass, and they always talk to me like, why don't I get it for PC? And for me, it's not really necessary. I get it for some other people because I know. Oh, and that's that alarm that you just hear. It's just letting me know that there are more 5090s in stock. So that's a good thing. More than likely, it's one of those three ones that I mentioned, the MSI, PNY, and ZOTAC. They are coming back in stock, plentiful. And if you are looking for it, it is in my description box down below. Again, if you're going to spend that kind of money, please really think about it. Because again, this generation is quite a mess. And I've already experienced trouble with the 5090 already. But again, I know all GPUs do experience their issues, their own type of issues. But I had freezing when it came to Monster Hunter Wild. And I actually had to end up downgrading my driver in order for it to work properly. Otherwise, it would just freeze up in the cutscenes. And Cessna says, "Hi, bro. I have some questions about some CPUs. Feel free to ask, Cessna." Now, if I miss anybody, I apologize for that. I always try to read everybody's comments here. But feel free to join the Discord channel. It is down in the description box down below. If you're on another site where you can't see my description box, then you can easily just go to chrismizo.com and you'll see the Discord icon up on the top or on the bottom, whichever you want to go to the website. Just click it and it will take you right to the server. Feel free to join and ask questions about anything from PC builds or troubleshooting or any type of issues that you are running into. Again, we have some great people in the Discord, and as the mod is actually here. And so it's all because I absolutely agree. And I bet it will backfire like always. So Cessna says, so currently I decided on upgrading my PC. I have a Ryzen 5 3600 and I want to upgrade to a Ryzen 5 9600X or a Ryzen 7700X. I don't know if it's too overkill for my 3060. I'll see what I can do, Casa. I'll see what I can certainly do. I'll get back to you. I'll reach over to you on Discord if anything, and I'll let you know as soon as I get more details on that, and I can definitely make it happen. But Cessna, so if you do upgrade, you are definitely aware you have to upgrade you are aware that you would have to upgrade the motherboard for sure, because you will be going from AM4 to AM5. Okay, definitely. I always appreciate a lurk. I don't mind it. But I'm glad you came in here to say something, champ. I always am happy to see you. So you do certainly have to upgrade your. If you do upgrade to a Ryzen 7000 series or a 9000 series, whichever one, you do have to upgrade the motherboard first. Now it could be the B650, or you can go to the A620. Same thing or you can go to the say 850 if you're not trying to spend a lot of money. Of course, they have more expensive ones out there. And for the second part, because it looks like you're going for either the Ryzen 5 9600X or the 7700X, they're probably more than likely around close to the same price. It's just that you got 2 extra cores when it comes to this 7700X. I can say for sure the 9600X is an excellent one to go with. Actually, the build we actually did with the 9070 XT, that was with the 9600X, and it has the Sapphire Nitro Plus 9070 XT built into it, and it works flawless. We got some great numbers out of it, so definitely take a look at that. So you're looking at Micro Center, motherboard, CPU, and RAM combos. So if you are choosing to go that route, that would be definitely the best bet. Go 9600X. Go for either a B650 or B850, A620. Depends on whatever your budget is, especially if you're on the lower side. And for the RAM sets, you want to look for at least 6000 megahertz as the minimum, because that's the sweet spot when it comes to their Infinity Cache for AMD. So you can go up to like 6400 megahertz, but it's just you're going to spend more money if you choose to go that route. And the most important thing you really want to look for, again, is having a decent motherboard, because that's going to be what you have for your GPU, which is going to be the 3060. And then when you do choose to upgrade it, like say if you do end up going to the 50 series for like the 5070, and then you'll have the compatibility when it comes to PCI Express 5. Now, I got to say, for the chipset wise, now when it comes to B650 and B850, now some B650 boards, they don't have PCI Express 5 really in it. Now, if you go B850, for certain they have PCI Express 5. So if you do care about that, if you do care about having that expansion slot, make sure to go B850 instead. But Casa says it's different motherboards set up as you will need. Yes. So we can definitely certainly help you out. Again, Cessna, feel free to join the Discord channel, and we can definitely help you figure out exactly how to go ahead with your build. Again, you already have your GPU set, so you're way ahead, because that's the most important part, especially if you're trying to do more of, say, like a gaming build. That's what is the most vital and most important part when it comes to a gaming PC. Now, if you're looking for something else, you're looking to try to gain on, say, like you want to get involved with some sort of digital creation, like content creation, then you'll have to reach like a different CPU. But again, more than likely, I'm expecting that you're probably gaming. So Casa says, trust me, it's a pain not spending a bit extra on a decent motherboard. And that's true, because think of it like this. If you choose to end up upgrading and you don't really get involved with like just spending like the extra $20, typically it's not going to be that much more to get that PCI Express 5. And by the time you actually end up needing it, you're going to have to go through a whole nother motherboard upgrade. And then you'll have to spend another $200 or $300 for a motherboard just to replace the one that you ended up using for maybe a year or two. But I'd say just spend a little bit extra money and it'll be worth it, because then you won't run into later issues, especially if you plan on upgrading other components of your PC. Now, what's up, Trevor? Good to see you. Good to see you in here. Now, everybody, feel free to ask any questions, because I love to answer them. And of course, Casa is also here, which is the mod for our Discord channel. Feel free to join the Discord channel if you don't know how, or if you can't get to the description box to join it. Make sure you just go to my website, chrismizo.com, and just click the Discord icon. That will lead you right into the server. So, okay, the combo I am looking for has everything you mentioned. It also has PCI Express 5, and the RAM is at 6,000 megahertz. That sounds perfect. I would love to take a look at it. I'm curious about your set. And if it has all of that featured to it, then more than likely you're probably pretty much good. So you have everything. The only thing you I'm assuming you're just going to reuse the power supply that you have. What's your power supply rating, out of curiosity? Because more than likely you'll probably be good enough. You're not powering like something crazy. Again, you're only having a 3060 and AM5 9600X. Not really a lot of power to really worry about, but you want to make sure to have a decent power supply too, so that way you don't really have issues when it comes to power spiking or things like that too. So I always recommend decent power supplies as well. So everybody out there who doesn't know who I am, who is just coming in and is a newcomer, I like to welcome you. I like everybody would love to welcome you. And also, I am Chris Mizo. We talk about PC and tech. If you have any tech or PC related questions, feel free to ask. If you're curious what the whole topic was that we were talking about, is NVIDIA RTX 5090 is becoming more in stock, so you can certainly see it. If you are looking for the RTX 5090, it's down in the description box down below. Now, it's only 3 really select manufacturers or AIBs that really have them. PNY, ZOTAC, and MSI are the ones that currently have them. Now, they're kind of scattered all over the place, from Walmart or Newegg, or from who else? Yeah, Walmart, Newegg, and somewhat Amazon, I think. And if you go check out the description link, that will take you over to that GPU. Just to remind you that the prices are still very high for a RTX 5090. If you are trying to purchase one, more than likely you're going to spend well over 2,800 USD on one. So unless you really feel that you need it, and you are more into like LLMs and AI learning, or if you're into more graphical design or content creation, then go ahead, by all means, go and get it. But if you are for gaming, yeah, I'm telling you, it's not. You don't need a RTX 5090 to do it. You can certainly get away with the RTX 5080, and you'll have some extra money to get yourself a controller or a new headset with it if you want to spend the extra money. And either the RTX 5080, but I highly recommend the RX 9070 XT. It's a awesome GPU. You got to try it out. The numbers are really impressive for how they perform. And again, it's just AMD has certainly amazed me for this generation. And there's been currently a lot of different issues with the whole NVIDIA drivers, but I'll get back to that. So Trevor says, why am I getting a bad ping while playing games? I'm connected to Ethernet. I have good ping for a bit, then it goes up. Now, that could be for several things. If you're getting a bad ping, then more than likely, are you connected to a router through your Ethernet? Or are you connected directly from your, are you on a modem maybe? Are you on cable? Do you use like Comcast? Do you use, I'm just curious. But yes, it can be inconsistent when it gives you Wi-Fi, because usually routers would do that. Now it could be like a firewall that's in a way. So Not Axelot says, I just bought a 5070 Ti, wondering if I should have held back and buy it at a later time, or should I have waited for a 9070 XT? Now I can say, now the good thing about when it comes to the 5070 Ti is that the ray tracing is going to be very good on it. Same with the path tracing. It's going to be, that's something that AMD's 9070 XT has trouble keeping up with. Now, if you're looking for better value and you're also looking for, you don't really care about ray tracing at all, you feel like it's more gimmicky than anything, then the 9070 XT would work perfectly fine. And you save again, probably another more like around probably like 300 to 400, I would say, if you get 9070 XT. Now, I'm not sure how the pricing is. I don't know how much you bought it at, but I'm assuming, did you buy it at Micro Center? Not Axelot. So you have Google Fiber. So that's more than likely a decent connection. If you have Google Fiber, then more than likely you have decent downloads and upload speeds. So are you connected through a router, or are you connected through the like a different, almost like a modem where it's like a router? Out of curiosity, because a lot of times it could be like the firewalls that are built into it. Sometimes you have to kind of allow certain protocols for it to work. Okay, not correct. Yes. Okay, so you did get it from Micro Center. More than likely, you probably got it for the best deal if you did get it from Micro Center. So I wouldn't stress about it too much. More than likely, you're probably not going to get like a crazy deal. So try to update your Wi-Fi router. That can also do it. There's a lot of reasons why it could really be, but it's going to have to do with something like that. Or you do have anything open that would kind of block it. Do you have a anti-cheat, like a virus scanner where it has a firewall on it? Because that'll do it too. So the ASUS TUF 5070 Ti Micro Center also has the 9070 XT for $100 less. Wasn't sure about it. So it depends. Now you have to ask yourself on that, Axelot, how do you feel about the RTX 5070 Ti? Did you already install it, or do you still have it in the box? I gotta say first, or do you really care about ray tracing is the real question. If you care about ray tracing and path tracing, then yes, you just keep the 5070 Ti. Now, if you care more about more gameplay and more value out of your GPU, I would say you go through AMD. that's 100% worth it too. If you're curious about the benchmarks between the two, this is something I want to actually bench myself, is the 5070 Ti next to the 9070 XT, just to get a good indication of how that would look like. But I would say, again, if you care about ray tracing, 5070 Ti. If you don't care about it, go 9070 XT. And just try it. See how you would like it first. And more than likely, you can always end up swapping it out anyway, because Micro Center is pretty good when it comes to parts anyway, like when it comes to GPUs and everything. And yes, even just like doing a modem reset would actually do it too. Yes. Hopefully you're enjoying the stream so far, Mobin. Hopefully everybody out there is enjoying the stream. Everybody that's just coming in. I am doing a free giveaway as well. I'm doing a Samsung 990 Pro. Let me pull it out for Jordan here. Where is it hiding? Yeah, it's a Samsung 990 Pro. I have no idea where it went. But the Samsung 990 Pro, it's a 1 terabyte drive. It does come with the heatsink. You can put it inside of a PS5, and you can also install it inside of your PC if you would like. If you want to join the free giveaway, it's down in the description box down below. If you are on if you're on Twitch or on TikTok, you can just go to the website, chrismizo.com, and join the free giveaway that way. It will be all the way on the bottom where you will see the dog holding the gift, and that is how you can join. Now, for everyone that is also joining in, I do have to mention, if you are interested in the RTX 5090, they are becoming more available. It's a DPNY version. They also have the ZOTAC version, and they also have MSI's Ventus. So they have those three mostly out and about, so you can certainly get them if you are trying to purchase it, and that's also in the description box. And Nintendo Switch 2 is officially going to be released tonight at 12 a.m. So if you are trying to get a Nintendo Switch, I also have the description box down in the description box, where if you do purchase it from that link, and as long as if you purchase it then it will arrive to you by the morning time of the launch day. And I have all the details set in the description box if you are interested in that. Again, if I were to compare devices, I always would say just go for the ASUS ROG Ally over the Switch, in my personal opinion, or go for a Lenovo Go, or go for a Steam Deck, because they are great devices and you can have a lot more variability. But again, I do get the people that love Nintendo as well, because they like the titles as Zelda and Mario, and you do have Pokemon, and you have a lot of great titles that you can play on a Nintendo Switch too. And hopefully that. Thank you, Mayuri, for following the Twitch channel. I do appreciate it. Again, anybody out there that has any questions, feel free to ask. I love hearing from everybody, especially when it comes to any type of PC and tech questions. Now, SwiftNap says, I bought a 5070 OC, only one in stock, and when I bought all my computers, but I see that they have a 9070 XT overclock in stock now. Just wondering if I should switch. Now, again, that kind of pulls me back to a very similar question. Similar answer. But again, you would really be impressed with the 9070 XT, I gotta say. If you were to compare the 5070 and 9070 XT, go with 9070 XT. I'll tell you that. 5080 70 Ti is quite a bit of a different story. You have a little bit more of the VRAM, but I gotta say, you gotta go for 9070 XT at that point, because you could get the 16 gigabytes of VRAM. So that's very tough to beat. Also, Mobin Pier says, I'm happy if you can help me with the 7700X with the 4070 Super. You think I could benefit of go to the 7800X3D, or if I change my GPU for more FPS boost. Now, if you're looking for more FPS boost, now you have a 7700X right now with the 4070. If you go 7800X3D, you can see quite a bit of a boost, because again, you have the V cache. That's what's going to help. So you can certainly see quite a bit of boost. I've done different testing on it, like when it comes to, like, say, when I tested a 7950X compared to a 7950X3D, there was quite a difference when it came to the gaming side. So you can certainly experience a lot better when it comes to the X3D, because again, you have the extra V-cache, which is more focused for the gaming side. So I can certainly say 7800 X3D would be an excellent choice for you, or even the 9800 X3D if you can get it. But those are great CPUs if you're choosing to upgrade for the gaming side. Now, if you are looking for a little bit mix of both, then I would say go for the higher tier one. But either the 7800 X3D or the 9800 X3D are great choices when it comes to the processing side. So, looks like Casa's calling out Trevor. But so everybody out there who is curious about the RTX 5090, they are becoming more readily available. So you can expect the RTX 5090 to get more stock, especially when it comes from Gigabyte, when it comes from ASUS. You should see more manufacturers within the next week for sure, because we already got 3 that's coming in, which is ZOTAC, MSI, and PNY. I know not all of them are going to be everybody's favorite brands. You could guess that the MSI ones always sell the quickest. ZOTAC and PNYs are more of the slower ones. It's funny because I remember when PNY was like a little bit bigger, they would actually sell RAM. They would sell all kinds of stuff, but now they're a much smaller figure compared to what they were anyway. And they're not what they used to be, I gotta say. And if you do choose to go with the ZOTAC, ZOTAC's a great brand to go with. I do like their products, and it's definitely worth taking a look into if you're choosing. There's a friggin' fly somewhere in this house. I gotta get rid of that then. But anyway, so going over to the RTX 5090, they are certainly in stock of it. And I gotta get a fly swatter. But I gotta get the so with the RTX 5090, they certainly are having a lot more full stock with it. Now, I don't know if you guys heard the recent news with the RTX 5080 when it came to Gigabyte's Aorus Master, because the Gigabyte's Aorus Master, they were having actually a really weird issue, and somebody actually brought this up, and I agree. I believe that there is only 10% of gamers who really need a 5090, unless you're gaming like full on 4K, 50 like not even 55, like maybe like a 70-inch 4K OLED display, and you're multitasking it on another monitor, then I would say then a 5090 would be really in use for like a gamer, because then it's like you're gonna have to really use up that VRAM, and in order to use that, you would have to have like multiple 4K monitors, and you would have to be really pulled in the resolution. But the 5080 had this really weird issue to where if you set it vertically specifically, and this guy had it in his PC for like about a month, it actually ended up melting like this thermal paste. So it was the actual stock thermal paste from Gigabyte, and it's supposed to be like really good stuff. But apparently he mounted his GPU vertically and actually started leaking inside of his PC. Now, he did have it in there for about a month before it started doing it, and he said the only game he would really play, it was something like really ridiculous. Let me look it up. But it was like a really ridiculous game that he was playing, and you wouldn't think it would do something like that, because he said he would only play, what was it? He would play WoW. Now, he would play WoW for 2 hours a day, and then after a month, it would start leaking his cooler. His thermal paste. Now, is that hard to believe? Do you really think he just gamed on WoW and it started leaking for 2 hours? Because that's not a very demanding game, especially a game that's like almost 20 years old now. So for this to happen, I'm more curious. There has to be more involved, and I'm just curious about the temperatures wise. Now, I gotta say the cool thing about this GPU when it comes to the Gigabyte Aorus Master is it has the temperature right here on the side of it on the LCD. But again, there's certain things that make it really look tacky, which is like the extra fan that they throw on there, which I feel like I don't really think it's going to really help temperatures that much better. So I'm curious. During the benchmarks, I ran that fourth fan just to get a good idea of what type of temperatures that you can expect out of it. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove that fan and then get more numbers out of that GPU so I can give you guys like more accurate numbers for those who want to use it. Another thing I'm also curious about, I would like to test, is testing it vertically just to see how well it fares and see if it actually holds better temperatures that way, or if I lose any type of performance, because allegedly if you do set it up vertically, they claim that if you don't use a PCI Express 5 riser, that you will lose performance out of it. It's not like a huge hit in performance. It's something like 2 or 3%. But if you use the PCI, that's if you use PCIe 4 risers. So if you use PCI Express 5 risers, then you can get the full experience. But again, I am curious. And if you're curious about if you can mount the fan on the side vertically, you certainly can if you wanted to. But the thing is, it's just like, again, it's going to be practically, if you were to set this GPU that way, the fan would be blowing straight into the motherboard. So I don't think that would be a great idea, to be honest. That would have to go at that point. Plano Plays Game says, which cards do you use in your systems? So the current card that I've been using right now, and again, it's mostly testing purposes, is the RTX 5090. And but the other systems I also have an RTX 4090. And then the other system I also have currently is the RX 9070 XT. And the funny part is, like, out of all those GPUs, I gotta say the RX 9070 XT was quite amazing and surprised me. I recently did install like a 5070 inside of a friend's PC, and so far he is loving it. He's enjoying the frame generation and everything about it. But Casa says it's like buying a phone that those tacky extras, like a bending screen on an extra button on AI, which is slapped willy-nilly on everything now. Yeah, it's like I really hate to say it, but I gotta say, for the NVIDIA side, it's been kind of sad, because for the NVIDIA side, it's almost like they were this great company, and now they're one of the companies where everyone who had NVIDIA cards would make fun of AMD users because they knew that AMD Adrenalin was just not good, and they knew that their drivers were not great. And now it seems that NVIDIA is running into those same issues. And for those who do have NVIDIA cards might know exactly the problem that I'm talking about, is that especially for those who have the 50 series, I ran into issues. And this is with a 5090 into Monster Hunter's Wilds, where it was freezing. And that was because of the newest updated driver, which was the 576.05 now, or 0.06. It was something like that. But if you update it to that driver, then more than likely you might experience any crashing. And from the discovery, it seems that it was actually because of that driver, and I had to roll back the driver, and then from there it was perfectly fine. But now NVIDIA did push out a hot fix for it, which is 576.15. So if you do have that newest driver, you can certainly install the hot fix, and that should eliminate that issue anyway. So for those who have that problem, make sure to update it. Now, I haven't tested it in the 40 series. Actually, Plano, I could really ask, because I haven't installed it on the newest. I haven't got to put it in the 4090 yet. But for Plano, I got to say, have you experienced a better experience when you updated the firmware from this current one from 576.06? I think it's that. But it's 576.06. Have you experienced any type of blackouts when installing the driver? Because it seemed like with the RTX 4090 throughout this whole year, I had issues installing drivers on it, and every time I would, the screen would stay black. And the only way for me to actually reset the PC was actually to manually reset it, and then it would be installed. I would just have to forcefully reset the PC in order for that driver to be like completely in there. But for some reason, it would never kick back on after the driver was installed. So I would have to do like a forced restart. So no issues with the 4090 for me. That's a good thing. So I didn't have issues playing with it. It was just issues installing the drivers for some reason. It was like anytime I installed a new driver, the screen would stay blacked out, and then I would have to force a restart for some reason. But I was just curious for other users. If you have anything that's under a 50 series, let me know. And if you did have an issue, please voice your opinion and let me know what type of issue you had, because out of curiosity, if you had the same problem or not. Now, Planino Play says no issues installing so far. Touching, I hear you. That's something I don't wish on nobody. That is the worst feeling when the driver isn't working correctly. And I gotta say, so both GPUs can communicate with each other to get the max output. Yes. So both, okay, but my bro has big problems with the 5080 flicker. You know what's funny? I felt like I thought I was seeing that a little bit when I was using the RTX 5090. Now this is with everything on here. Now with the 5090, I had NVIDIA's reflex on, right? I had frame generation on, and I turned on one other part here too. I think it was the VSync. It was something like that. But I had all three of them turned on, and supposedly when you have all three of those turned on, it's supposed to give you the best experience. So I saw slight flickering, but I'm thinking that's more, I'm just curious if that's the frame generation, but that's something I have to look into further, because it seems that when you do use frame generation, it doesn't act 100%. Sometimes, like when I was testing it out, originally on the RTX 4090 before the 5090, is that when I would use the frame generation on a game such as Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, excellent game by the way, but if you are playing that game and you have frame generation turned on, it would kind of look weird, almost like ghosting. So it would work, but it wouldn't work like 100%. I do appreciate the subscription, Albert. It wouldn't work 100%, but it would kind of act a little bit funny. Like you would see like a little ghosting, like if you were on a slower monitor, like a 60 hertz display or something. It looked kind of like that is the best way I can describe it. But then it can run really smooth where it looks like it's just no ghosting at all. Or sometimes that the textures get out of whack, where you would see like the textures kind of stretch on the screen. Like all of a sudden his sword would stretch across the screen and it would kind of like bounce all over the place, which is really odd. And speaking of glitching, I just got to mention, has anybody gotten Elder Scrolls Oblivion? Because I got to know what you guys think of it. I've heard it's great because they kept all like their original content in there, including the glitches, which is pretty funny. Let me know what you guys think of Elder Scrolls Oblivion. From what I heard, I've heard very great things so far about it, because I do really want to get that. That's definitely a great game. If you've never played Elder Scroll, Oblivion's a great one to get into. So is Skyrim, but I expect Skyrim that they'll end up remaking that. The same with Fallout 3. They're supposed to remake that or announce it by June, apparently. Fallout 3, and I really want them to do New Vegas. And it's funny because New Vegas, I've been like really playing hardcore on it because I never beat it, and I'm still currently on the mode to trying to beat New Vegas. But I gotta say, when it comes to the RTX 50 series, it really hasn't been a great generation, because it just seems like there's always new things coming out. We're already in April and we're still having issues. Now, it could be one or two things. It could be because that NVIDIA just didn't have enough supply. So we're still learning about the 50 series card. It's still really new. So because that there wasn't enough supply out there. And now that, or it could just be that it's just problematic. So I'm just curious either one, which it could really be. So you could hear Jonah just walking around down on the bottom there. He's just on a chill night. But I gotta say, I am really excited to see how that plays out with Oblivion. I'm just curious about how it really looks. Excuse me, just had to take a sip of water there. But I might junk my current PC and restart with AM5 Yeah, I mean, you could go full AM5. That would be amazing. If you go AM5, that would certainly change the game for sure. And you'll be good for at least another, at least, what is it? Maybe about, I would say, like 3 years. Like this, still, and with constant updates, which is nice. But really, you would really be good if you're just holding onto the PC. You could really last it at least 5 to 7 years. Especially because now with PCs, it seems like they're lasting a lot longer than they used to. Before, when you would build a PC, they would last maybe about 5 years at the most. If it was 5 years, it would be practically ancient by now. But 5 years for a PC now is like, it's still very obtainable to do. And you're able to game comfortably still on a 5-year-old PC. But everything could change because, again, the reason why everything could change is because of these studios with these horrid optimizations, if you would like to call it optimizations. I don't know what these developers are doing with their time, but it's certainly not optimizing very well. They're probably creating, but not caring about the final result, I gotta say. Because a lot of these games are requiring some really ridiculous requirements, especially if you look at games such as like Last of Us 2 Remastered, which is ridiculously like ridiculous requirements on PC. Any type of game, for some reason, any type of game that was on like a PS5, for example, like Spider-Man 2 Remastered, no, not remastered, Spider-Man 2, because they have so many remastered titles. Spider-Man 2 has some practically ridiculous requirements. Same thing with Last of Us Remastered, the original one. But all their games do require some crazy amount of power. And the funny thing is, we really are pushing into the whole generation of where any game that's under 2009 practically is more than likely going to be remade, because a lot of those games, even Mirror's Edge, like one of those games, I could see that getting remastered, because reason being is because they want to move it onto a whole different engine and have more compatibility with the system. But in a way, I feel like it's kind of taken away from actually owning that game, because even though you own that game before, that you won't really be able to play it like you used to. And unfortunately, that's the sad part of it. So Casa says, my current build is honestly more trouble than it's worth. Bad CPU, bad motherboard, bad RAM, bad GPU. Yeah, it's always tough, especially because you're trying to get your build to last a lot longer than you would like. But sometimes it can be difficult to hold on to your build, because you can run into those little issues. And sometimes your PC will let you know when it's ready to go. And if it's on that final side of it, then it's probably more than likely a good idea to build a new PC. It's definitely worth it. It always is, because, again, it's something that you always have for the longest. Again, you can keep a PC for as long as like 5 to 7 years for sure for now. And that's something that I've been thinking about doing too. It might be a little bit difficult to do live as like a whole PC build. I would love to do a PC build live, but it's kind of hard with the different angles, especially on one camera. I would have to probably grab like multiple cameras to do this if we do a PC build live. If you would like to see it live and feel free to ask questions, feel free to let us know in the Discord channel as well. And it's funny, let me see, because I just got some notifications here. And let's see. I'm just checking what we have here. Okay, welcome Cessna, good to see you. I see that you joined our Discord channel. Just double checking everybody. And if anybody out there who is interested in joining the Discord channel, again, it is a free channel. You can feel free to ask any tech questions. You can feel free to post up your PC builds. You can show off your benchmarks. The Discord channel is right down in the description box down below. And just feel free. Anybody on that community is willing to help to help figure out any issues if you have any, or if you need any help when it comes to a PC build or when it comes to PC hardware. And feel free to suggest ideas. Feel free, and Casa right here is our moderator, and you can certainly go to him if you have any questions about anything on Discord as well. So it's like pouring blood, sweat, tears, and lots of money into an outdated Claptel car with 400,000 miles. Yeah, I get it, because it's like I've had PC builds where I really tried to hang on. And a lot of times back then, especially, you would think slapping like a new GPU in would automatically fix the issue, but that isn't always the case, unfortunately. Sometimes it just seems like it just wants to go on its own anyway. And even though you slap that new GPU in there, it still is going to have quite a bottleneck in there, because then it's like your GPU can't take full advantage of the system, unfortunately. And especially now, even though GPUs don't really use the full capacity of PCI Express 4 or even PCI Express 5, that it's now practically a requirement to the point where for some reason it's going to get in the way of bottlenecking because of that. And again, just like we were talking about the whole riser when it comes with the 50 series, if you don't have a PCIe 5 riser, you'll have a very small percentage of loss of power. So I'm really curious, and I really want to test that. Unfortunately, on this case, I gotta get like a whole kit for it, because Corsair doesn't. On this specific model, this one's the 5500X case, and in this case, you have to get their bracket in order for it to fit, or get a third party's bracket in order for the vertical GPU to stand up. And it's not like the other case that I have, which is I think it's the 5000X, which is a great case, and you could set the GPU vertically if you'd like automatically in there, but you just have to get the riser cable for it. So Corsair cases are usually really good, as they typically have their modules, and it does have the extra fans in there too. So for anybody that's just coming in, we're just talking about everything about the RTX 5090. It is becoming back more in stock. 5080s are there too, 5070 Ti's. So it looks like that all these stores are starting to build up quite the collection, which is an excellent thing. It means that you're going to have less trouble with dealing with scalpers, which is good news for everybody out there. Scalpers are probably pretty pissed right now, especially that they can't sell their GPUs as quick as they used to. Excuse me. But 9070 XTs are definitely there. 9070s are becoming more in stock. Now, AMD is supposed to have this large announcement coming up on Computex. Computex is within a few weeks. Fortunately, I can't make it to Computex this year. I would have loved it to went, but because I'm going away later in Taiwan by like around probably like July, then I just the timing is just not good, unfortunately. And again, it's something that I would have loved to went to, because AMD is supposed to premiere something really amazing when it comes to the gaming side. Apparently, they have this new hardware that they're going to show. We don't know what it quite is yet, but for sure that they are going to come out with a 9060. I mean, well, the 9060 is going to come out eventually, and the 9070 GREs. But from what I'm hearing, the GREs won't be coming out till towards the end of the year, if that's what you're looking for. AMD also has new drivers out if you have an AMD GPU. Now, for everybody, it's always busy, Plano, for sure. Definitely just do it. Just take the travel. It'll be worth it. It feels like milking a cow. Oh man, I can't imagine what that would be like. I don't even know what that would be like, milking a cow, like if that's already dead. You were just on my recommended page. You are getting YouTube traction. Thank you. I appreciate it, 5-star. I appreciate everyone out there that has seen me through the recommendation page. I do appreciate that you mentioned where you are coming from, and feel free to join the Discord channel. Thank you, Plano. I appreciate it. He's always great too. Again, for anyone that is out there just joining in, we do have a Discord channel. If you're into PC building, PC hardware, or anything like that, it's a completely free channel. And everybody out there is willing to help you on Discord, especially Kase here, which is our mod. He's an excellent guy. He is always out there to be willing to help out anybody with questions, such as we just had somebody with a Wi-Fi or internet issue. He says he's hooked up through Ethernet, but more than likely, there could be so many different things. But that's something that would take a little time to figure out, as there's so many different variables. So if you have any issues, something like that, feel free to put in Discord, or feel free to ask in live, and I'm willing to try to help you out there. So is 8 gigabytes still worth it? It's one of those things where I can't really recommend 8 gigabytes. 8 gigabytes is really sketchy now, I gotta say. Especially unless you don't really care about your textures or your shaders, you could set everything to like the low side, then it doesn't matter as much. Then 8 gigabytes doesn't matter. And it also depends on what you're gaming on too. If you're gaming on a 1080p display, or if you're gaming on a 4K display, because that'll make also quite the difference too. Now, if you're on a 1080p display, more than likely you'll get away with it. Now, if you're going anything higher, like ultra wide, like a 1440 display, or if you're going into a 4K display, then I would say go a little bit higher. Or if you're running like multiple displays, it's more than likely a good idea to go a little bit higher too. So if that's what you have, it's okay. However, I wouldn't buy anything 8 gigabytes. I don't suggest going 5060. And 5060 Ti is okay. It's just 12 gigabytes, but then again, it has trouble. Again, the 5060 has trouble beating the 4070, ironically. So it might be better to go towards the 4070 if you are looking to buy, or it's better to go 5070 Ti even. It would be more than likely better. Again, RX 9070 XT is great, but it all depends on what you are looking for, or what you're planning to game on specifically. And if ray tracing matters to you, or path tracing, if that matters to you, now there's, again, a lot of different ideas, but I gotta say 8 gigabytes is something I would not recommend in 2025. It's definitely outdated, and I honestly don't know why NVIDIA is still pushing 8 gigabytes. Maybe it's an easy sale for them. They know people won't purchase it. So it's just like, and they did. The funny thing is, people actually ended up purchasing it, and it sold out. And I don't think there's any 5060 Ti's, but ironically, there's 5090s now. You could get 5080s and 5070 Ti's, even 5070s, I think now. So we're starting to slowly get back to the way we used to be, especially. So 5-star says, I have an i5 13400F with a RTX 4060, 8 gigabytes. So I wonder if I should upgrade to something better. I play on Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and it's pretty good, but I'm wondering what I'm missing. So if you have so you already have, okay. So if you already have 8 gigabytes and you have a 4060, you should be pretty good with those settings. So you can certainly activate DLSS. I would recommend like bringing down the settings a little bit, because most of the time, I don't know why Call of Duty does this, and a lot of games do this anyway. But maybe it's just Call of Duty should be more focused on the competitive side instead of focusing on the graphical side, because if you let Black Ops 6 choose the selection of how you want your settings, it's going to go for the best option and the maxed out graphics as you can for your settings. So it'll go the best way for 4060 and the best way for your processor, which is the 13400F. Instead, just bring down that slider like a couple notches, and you will get better performance. You won't really notice a difference, I'll tell you that right now, but you will certainly up your gameplay and have better frames that way. As the optimization, when it comes to it, like when they try to give you those optimizations, it's always going to be based on quality more than the actual performance. So Yeah, classic case of iPhone 14 Pro Max versus the iPhone 15 base model. Yeah, pretty much. That's now NVIDIA has quite the selection now. NVIDIA has the RTX 4060, the 4060 Ti, 4070, 4070 Ti. The list goes on. 4080. Pretty soon it'll be a 4080 Ti and then 4090. But yeah, it's quite the collection. And for those who are wondering about the 4080 Ti, and you know what's funny? And the company that leaked it, ASRock, they accidentally leaked it. But again, the 4080 Ti, I mean, not 4080 Ti, the 5080 Ti, you won't see this year. More than likely, you would end up seeing it next year. But they ended up leaking it, and apparently that's supposed to have up to 24 gigabytes of VRAM. And I'm not sure where they're going to price it. Probably going to be a little bit more than the RTX 5080, that's at 1,000. I could see them setting it at 1,200 easily. That's an easy call, $1,200 for a RTX 5080 Ti. So I expect it within probably next year, not this year though. But they will have a 24 gigabyte variant because I'm sure they know people are complaining about the whole VRAM side, and that is quite the sweet spot, I would say. 1,200 for a 24 gigabyte model. Well, it kind of doesn't make sense, right? Because when you think about it, if it is $1,200 and the 32 gigabyte model of the 5090, again, you have two different Blackwell processes in there. Maybe they would price it a little more aggressively. Maybe it would actually be, instead of 1,200, it's probably more like maybe around the $1,400 range, I would think. Just because they have to make it like in between type of deal, between the 5080 and the 5090, because 1,200 would be too great of a deal. That's too good of a deal. Now, you are out of the camera view. Oh, I apologize. Let me move up a little bit. You can see me now. So what do you think about AMD? More and more people are ditching NVIDIA. Like I said, AMD, I gotta say, this year, specifically this year, AMD is definitely, I gotta go Team Red. Because even though I've experimented with all these cards, I gotta say the RX 9070 XT is certainly impressive. And it's definitely the best bang for your buck. And you can definitely enjoy all the games that you want on it. And this Sapphire Nitro Plus Pro, it was only a little bit over $770, and you can enjoy every game that you would like on it. So I gotta give it to AMD for this year. NVIDIA is quite the disappointment. It's nothing but problems and problems coming out. You got driver issues, you have hardware issues, and the list continues to go on. It's a bit disappointing, especially because I had very high expectations, especially in the beginning of the year for NVIDIA. And when they announced it at CES 2025, but after that, it was kind of all downhill, especially after the whole pre-order debacle, when they only sent out so many cards to each country, which barely made any sense. Like in the US, they only sent out like 265 across micro centers. I don't know what kind of sense that is, but and then you create this almost illusion to where it looks like it's a really hot card, but when it's really not compared to what it was back then with the 40 series and the 30 series. And the funny thing is, NVIDIA tried to make it seem like that it did really well, that NVIDIA ended up selling so many cards, more than the 40 series, but that was absolutely false because they released the 5090 and the 5080 at the same time. The 4090 only released by itself. So if you go off of that, then it looks like that they ended up selling more 50 series. But if you just go solely off of one card, which is the 4090 and the 5090, that's complete BS then. So yes, so 9070 XT is 100% more impressive when it comes to the pricing, and definitely worth it, especially if you're looking to upgrade your card. If you're coming from like a NVIDIA 20 series or even the 30 series and you want to upgrade, I tell everybody, just go for the AMD 9070 XT. You certainly won't be disappointed. I get why there's a lot of, there's no need to be a fanboy when it comes to certain companies. because if a certain company can make the product better, you go to them, and that's how a company can learn. Because if you constantly purchase NVIDIA products, that they're always going to feel like you're going to buy their products no matter what. They could give you a GPU with, again, 8 gigabytes, and they know it'll sell, and it certainly did. It certainly did sell, and that's a bad example of having fanboys in the industry. It's better to just go with the better product, and then they'll start to question themselves, where did they go wrong with the product, so they can make it better for the next time. And that's how it really should be. But, and so Casa says, NVIDIA is too reliant on crypto miners, AI learning. It's not really a gaming GPU brand anymore. It's becoming more of an enterprise brand for big companies, not gaming anymore. And it's true. It's becoming more enterprise than anything. And unfortunately, it seems like they're very focused on trying to sell their AI models more than anything. And it was really clear. That was really clear at CES, as they seemed that that's what they wanted to really sell, because they had these big things like the whole when they were showing the chips, like the chipsets like Thor, which is an amazing chipset. Again, it's not for the gamer side. It's very enterprise, and it's almost like they're so focused on it that they kind of give us whatever leftovers they have from the enterprise side. So I just hope NVIDIA can bring back their focus again on the gamers again. It would be really nice to. And I was really hoping that they would be a lot more genuine too when it came to showing the GPUs, just like Blackwell. How a lot of companies were saying Blackwell is going to be the breakthrough that everybody's going to want to see. And unfortunately, I feel like it didn't do quite that. It's doing quite the opposite. Instead, it's painting NVIDIA in pretty much a bad light. And hopefully more people see that. Now, I don't hope NVIDIA goes down. I don't want NVIDIA to burn down in flames. I just want them to improve as a company. But as of this year, I got to say, for 2025, Team Red is the way to go. AMD has done very well this year, and I've been very impressed by their products for sure. So, yeah, I don't blame you, because what's up, Naoki? Welcome. I gotta say, if you started shopping for AMD, it's something you want to regret. All AMD build is really nice to have. I gotta say, for the stream upcoming on Saturday, I'll reset up that system with the Sapphire Nitro Plus 9070 XT, and we can mess around with it, and so you can get a good idea of how it looks, and you would certainly be impressed. We can run some different benchmarks. I gotta update the drivers on that PC to really push it, and even with the overclocking is quite amazing. You can undervolt it to a nice setting, and I think I undervolted it by negative 15 about, and I was able to push it over, I think like about, what was it, a little bit over 200 I would say, on the clock speed and the memory clock. I would have to look at the settings again, but they are all set and very easy to optimize when it comes to AMD's, if you choose to overclock it and choose to undervolt it practically and get the same settings. I haven't done it with this card. It's going to be a bit scary to mess with the NVIDIA RTX 5090. It's certainly undervolting, and I'm not going to try to push it over the edge when it comes to overvolting, because that I feel like that's going to end up like a mess there. So Naoki says, my friends all have popular content. Oh, okay. Do you have any questions? Feel free to ask. I would love to know. Yeah, I don't mind sharing the point of view. And I do got to say, for anybody out there who is thinking of getting RX 9070 XT, I'm telling you, if you take a look at it, you would be quite amazed. Especially with these benchmark numbers. If you haven't seen them, hang out this Saturday. I'm going to go live. I always go live around 10 to 12 on Saturdays, so you can expect to see us there. And I'll have that set up instead, so we can mess with it and get different benchmarks, and I can show you what that system looks like. But it is quite impressive, and we'll definitely have a lot of fun with it too. And I can say, I know I'll probably do some random streams too, to where I'll just load up the RTX 5090 and I'll run that. I'll run that system, and we could do some frame generation games to show to get a good idea of how they look, and I'll have the different settings set up for it. And again, like just like what Casa says, just like what everybody else says, it's just way too much power. Way too much power. The 5090, if you're just going to use it for gaming, not necessary. You're not going to fill up all that VRAM. And 5-star says, do you think running DDR5 6000 megahertz versus 32 gigabytes of DDR4 makes a big difference? It does. I'll tell you right now. The reason why I can tell you is I'm on my content creation PC right now, right? So when I use this one's still on DDR4. And when you use DDR4, you won't really think anything of it, but you will notice the difference in speed. And you notice the loading a little bit is a bit slower now compared to DDR5. It certainly has improved, and the latency is 100% better now than when DDR5 originally first came out. So you will certainly see the difference, and Infinity Cache is definitely worth going for. So, yeah. I mean, I love to answer these questions, and again, just feel free to, if you have any more questions, please feel free to join the Discord channel, as we love to talk to everybody on there, and we could certainly do more like interviews. That would be fun to do too, I think. And I'll just create a channel for it, and that way we can just like talk if you don't mind going live, or we can just do a discussion straight through Discord, and we can bring it up onto the channel. And okay, now it looks like the frames dropped a bit. Hopefully you guys still can see me okay. I think, you know what it is? I know exactly what it is. Let me see. I bet you it is this drive getting full. And again, let's see, recordings. Oh, it's empty. Hopefully, so I think NVIDIA cards are performed really bad with gaming, as it's not the purpose of the cards. They're completely focused on AI. And yes, I do agree. I do agree. And that's the thing. It's just like, they keep pushing out these numbers to make it seem like it's doing really well, but I really feel like it's not doing as good as they are saying it is. It's almost like they want to create this illusion to where they are saying that NVIDIA is still the #1 company to go to, but I really want AMD to really push themselves, especially when in Computex within the next couple of weeks. I would love to see that. Hopefully you guys could see me okay. Can you guys still see me moving and everything? Because I can see the screen looks frozen on my end. If it is, let me know. I'll reset that camera real quick, and you guys can still hear me. But I can say I would love to see AMD just really go full throttle. That would be excellent. And I'm just curious what type of showing NVIDIA will have once they go to Computex, because now it's like, what can they really show? They're most likely are going to show their 5060 again. They'll probably really push that. And they really don't have any, I don't see them coming out with anything else for this year. They might have like different ideas. Now, has anyone used NVIDIA's AI assistant? Because it seems like that's what they pushed out on the NVIDIA app a lot too. So 5-star says, so what would be an ideal CPU, GPU, and a motherboard build combo for a $1,500 build? That's an easy one. Actually, that PC build that we just did, it was total 1,800, but you can certainly push it down to 1,500 easy. And that was we did a 9600X, and we used a Sapphire with the GPU. You could get like a instead of getting the Sapphire Nitro Plus, you could just get the original Sapphire 9070 XT. That would push it down $100. That would bring it down to 17. Then if you're able to, instead of getting an AIO and you changed it over to just like a CPU, like a cooler, like a cooler master, CPU cooler for like $30 or $40, you could certainly do that. That would bring it down like almost 100 again. So that would bring it down to 16. And one more thing I would say is just the power supply. You could drop down the power supply and put a you could certainly put like a Corsair power supply in there instead of using the Seasonic one that we put in, which is like very energy efficient. And you save money in that end. But if you were to look for build constrictions, you could go for Corsair's like 1,000 watt gold GPU, and there you got a $1,500 build. And there's certainly going to be more builds that we are going to do. I really want to do like a big challenge and do do something like well under 1,000. That would be pretty dope, I think. So I'm from Canada, so it's in Canadian dollars. But for $2,000, what would be a nice setup? For $2,000, I would have to put that together for you, for sure. But I can say for a nice setup. Okay, so for a nice setup, make sure to join the Discord channel if you haven't already. 5-star. I can give you a whole list on there too. But I can say like for a really nice setup, you can go AM5, right? You could go either B650 or B850, but I highly recommend B850 because then you get PCI Express 5 for sure, because some boards don't have PCI Express 5 on the B650s. The second part is you want to get a decent processor. You want to get like a 9600X at least for the minimum, and that's you can get that for really cheap. For the RAM, you want to look for the best deal. So you don't have to go for the full, you don't have to go for the lowest latency, but you want to get for the at least like maybe about like 6,000 to 6,400 megahertz of RAM. It can be up to 32 gigabytes. You don't have to go all the way up to 64, nothing like that. Just get 32 gigabytes of it. For the NVMe, just go PCI Express 4. You don't have to get PCI Express 5 NVMe. And instead just go for like a Crucial P3 Plus. It was one that we put in. You could probably even find ones cheaper than that if you can. And you can get like 1 terabyte, even 512 gigabytes if you're really on a constraint. Let's see. So we at the cooler, you want to go for like a CPU fan pump. Yeah, okay. I kind of figured that. I'm going to reset the camera real quick. All right, you guys will still be able to hear me. I just got to reset the camera. For some reason, I don't know why it's doing that. Ever since I did this new update on this camera, it's been kind of weird, I noticed. Hopefully that'll fix it. I just reset it. Hopefully that will unfreeze the camera. Let me see here. I wonder why. That's something I got to look into. And I'll plug it real quick. There we go. Hopefully that does it. Is it? Yeah, it looks like it's still frozen for now. But, yeah, I apologize for that. I just got my PC case. We'll be getting the rest of the parts soon. Oh, I'm excited for you, Dash X. That access. I am 100% excited for you. Let me see. I know what to do. Hang on, guys. I'm going to reset the USB here, and that'll fix it. I bet that'll fix it. And now I'll just reset the camera. There we go. Perfect. And yes, I do. I do builds and I do ship them out. I actually have them on my website. If you want a custom build, just send me an email. There we go. So if you want a custom build, just go to my website. It's at chrismizo.com. And you can feel free to go into the contact page or just contact me through Discord if you want to. And I can certainly help you build a PC. Just let me know what you are looking for and what your budget is, and I can certainly help you and work with you on it for sure. And so I do send it out. Now, the only place I can't send it out is outside. Like Canada, it's probably like the furthest I would ship out to. Anything other than that, like if I was to push it out to like somewhere like in Europe or something, I would. I'm really worried about the quality control because there's been times where I shipped out PCs and they were broken, and that is just a terrible situation. And I want people to get a good PC, but of course, when something like that happens, we'll make sure that it gets fixed. So, and that's just a situation I don't want to happen to anybody. So again, usually I'll ship within the U.S. and I'll ship, I'm sure, as far as Canada. But unfortunately, outside of the U.S., I feel like that's something that is unfortunately out of my control until I find a better shipment company, and because I'm still questionable about like when it comes to UPS, they're really sketchy to me. And same thing with FedEx, they like to give a pretty much a hard time about things. So, Daxus says yes, I got 7800 XT for 600 Canadian dollars, brand new. Now it's $800 now. Yeah, that happens a lot in the UK. Yeah, it's a shame, and I definitely will show you pictures the next time for sure. I actually did a build where I kind of had to rebuild it. Luckily, the only thing that was really good in that PC, like when I got it back, I told them to send it back to me, and the PC was a mess. It was like all crushed up. It looked terrible. So when I opened it up, it was like the motherboard was all damaged. The PCI Express bus was damaged, and surprisingly, the GPU was okay. It was just everything else was messed up. That and the RAM, I think, was the only thing that was salvageable, and probably the SSD. Everything else I had to get rid of, and I had to get a whole new case, new motherboard. Yeah, but it was quite the mess. And this time when I shipped it out, luckily it made it okay, and I didn't go through UPS that time because I do not trust them now. So ever build on the Corsair 3500X case? I'm actually working on somebody. I'm trying to talk to Corsair now, but the guy that I work with that sends me the products, he's out right now, but he's working on getting me a 3500X, so I am planning one soon. And with that build, I'm thinking we might go stealth build. And I don't know how everybody feels about that, but I think a stealth build would be pretty dope to mess with, right? Because we don't really see too many stealth builds. But that is more than likely on the way. But as soon as I get in contact with him, I don't know exactly when, because right now he's kind of in he has his own situation he has to go through. So once he goes through that, then at least we'll be able to build off of that 3500X case, which is going to be exciting. But I built in a lot of Corsair cases. I built in the 4000D, 4000, the 5000, the 5000X. This case, which is the 5500X, that's right next to us, actually, right next. But Corsair cases are very good. I do like Corsair cases a lot. And but if you're looking for anyone that's looking for a budget case, I highly recommend Montech, and which we recently built. And if you were on the stream a little bit earlier, with that Montech case, you can certainly get a decent build or a decent case for like $75. So I'm going black purple on mine. It's a good case. The only thing missing is the rear fan. Oh, okay. So you probably need like a 120 millimeter fan, I'm assuming. And so I'm going, yeah, it would look really nice, I bet. That's going to look sick. Like once you get that done. So if you just need the rear fan, that's going to look good though. So I'm assuming is the 3500X, it's almost similar to this, but except it's like you could have, I know the fans through I think it's the side too as well, matter of fact. Yeah, that is the disappointing part. I know cases are going up in price, which is pretty annoying, but it's pretty soon it's supposed to get better when it comes to pricing. So everyone just has to hang in there, unfortunately. But pricing will certainly get better, and just give it a little bit more time. It's going to take a couple of weeks at least. And it almost seems like we're always waiting for something, but this time it's going to be the pricing. Same thing with all the 5090s out there. They're really expensive. If you ever take a look, you could easily spend $3,400 on a 5090, which is insane, but people will buy it for some reason, even though it's like you don't need a 5090, and I tell this to everybody. But I was looking to get a case with the front open too. Now my fans are in the front, and damn, it's like 150 to 300 Canadian dollars. That's insane. Yeah, because yeah, that's part of the reason too. And supposedly today was like one of those days where they did have like the whole talks, and there's supposed to be a restructure when it comes to economy wise. So once that happens, things should certainly look better. Yeah, yeah. And you can get a decent case in the UK for 70. Oh, nice. So that's actually not too bad then. Yes, soon it will. It's just all due time. There's actually this one guy on JB Creations. He does his own cases, which is pretty dope. You gotta check him out. He actually builds like his own cases. He has like a wood case that he makes on his. But prices are going to be up, unfortunately, and especially if you're looking in the GPU market, it's definitely taken quite a hit. Luckily, we got the Sapphire Nitro Plus. That was one I had to purchase, and at the time when I bought it, it was at $770. But then that was when it first came out. Now, when you look at it, it's like I think it's like a little bit over $890, which is a little high. I feel for sure. And I still don't get it why the average gamer are going for these NVIDIA cards. 4070s here are like 1200, and the 7800 XT is like 800. Yeah, and 70 British pounds is around. Yes. And yeah, that is quite a lot for it. And it's because, again, the brand sells. When you automatically think, and when you think of building PCs, you automatically will go for NVIDIA because they are very well known when it comes to graphics cards. They're known to be the best when it comes to GPUs. And again, a lot of it is factual. They are really good when it comes to GPUs. They are great at it. But the problem is the pricing. It's way too expensive. And because they know that they can charge so much for it, first they tested about 4090s hitting $1,500 USD, right? And now they pushed the 5090s to over $2,000 USD. So if they're charging that much and they know they can get away with it and it's still selling in great numbers, they're just going to continue to do what they do. They're going to sell those graphics cards for that price. More than likely, this is going to be their set price. Especially, even once it gets to the 60 series, you can certainly expect it to stay around the same price. I don't see them pushing the envelope anymore. If they do, that would just be insane. And I don't know anybody who would really trust NVIDIA after that. So Dax, I see a lot of people going AMD, so this is why I asked the questions. I will sort of start looking at deals. And again, AMD is excellent. I really can't wait to show you guys that card again. I'm really impressed. If you guys haven't checked out that build, it's an excellent build. And it's actually, this one's much more of a compressed video of a PC build. And the build is the 70, it's going to say the Sapphire Nitro Plus 9070 XT build. And you'll like what you see for sure. And am I wrong for saying that NVIDIA is like Apple and AMD is like Samsung? Not really. You're not wrong at all. I kind of feel like it's getting to that point to where NVIDIA is almost like the Apple of PCs now, which is kind of insane to say. And remember back then, even Intel was like that at one point to where they were the top, right? Intel was the top of everything. You could only get Intel. And they were more expensive than AMD too. And now it seems like, look at what Intel's at now. It's like nobody ever talks about them, but there's only the very few select people that still have them. Again, I do like them when they had the Alder Lake series. Alder Lake was an excellent series, I feel like. When it came to Raptor Lake, they were still pretty good. It was once they started going off the rails on the 14th and 15th gen, that's when it started to get really questionable. Now we do have a Z890 motherboard we will build on, but I don't know how many people are going to be really interested on it. In fact, I even thought about with this build, I even thought about doing like either would it be better to just do like a giveaway with the Z890, or would it be better to do a build on the channel? But again, there's not a lot of supporters out there for Intel currently. And so, oh yeah, honestly, back in the days, I didn't even hear the name AMD. Yeah, because AMD, the last time they were like good and relevant, and it was a long time ago, was back when they had the Athlon processors. And if anybody out there who is watching that came from that generation that knows exactly what I'm talking about, the Athlon X64 processors were really good at the time. And they were competitive, but after then they kind of just like fell off hard. And then Intel took over when they came out with their Intel when it came out with Intel dual cores, and Intel Duo was like the first one, and then they kind of went into their whole multi-cores after that. And it was only NVIDIA and Intel, yes. And at the time, that's what it was for like a good long while. And Intel really started their fall, I would say, like once it hit the 8th generation, and it became too repetitive. It was like every processor that they put out was almost like the reiteration of their last generation. In fact, I remember their 10th generation, it's almost like a repeat of what happened this year for Intel, because 285, right, is their newest one. The 285K gets outpaced by the 14900K, which is their last year model. Same thing happened when it came to the 10th generation and the 9th generation. The 9th generation outpaced the 10th generation. So that just shows you like Intel just got straight up lazy and didn't even care no more. And they just became more of a company that just sold processors. In fact, they even went as far as making fun of AMD about saying, oh, they glue their cores together. They glue their chips together. And the funny thing was, once you dissected Intel's processor, they actually ended up they were the ones that were actually gluing their processes together, which is insane. So Apple and NVIDIA is overpriced because of their brand, and is super popular and premium, and Samsung and AMD seem as cheaper and less quality, although that's not true at all. I agree with you. And certainly is almost like the competition when it comes to brand names. So you have to go off of the performance, and I always tell this to everybody, just you have to give it a try. And if I guarantee you, this would be a fun thing to do, right? We got to try this one time, and we would have to try to do this live somehow. But just have everybody, just have kind of like a blind test, right? And just have somebody come into a room, right, into the studio, and just have them try 2 different systems. Just have like a black cover, like have the case all blacked out, and they'll play the games on it, and they'll take a guess on which one's NVIDIA and which one's AMD. Do you think they would be able to pick out the bunch, or do you think they would just assume, you know? And I'm curious how the results would be. They might end up being surprising me, like an AMD better and not even know it. So, 5-star, you can order 5070 for like 700 Canadian dollars. Oh, okay. That's really good actually. But again, it's like if you go 5070, if you could go 5070 Ti, if anything, because 5070, it's a good card and everything, but I just feel like you can definitely push it a bit further for sure. But especially if you really care about the VRAM. Now the 5070 has 12, and if you get the 5070 Ti, you got 16. But they're based on the same, practically the same one. I think it's GB202, their Blackwell chip, and it's so their cores, which is their base clock and their boost clock, is practically the same, and the memory clock is pretty much the same on it, except you got more VRAM on the Ti version. That's the only difference between the two. But if you're curious about the difference between the 5070 and the 5070 Ti. So, yeah, you think the problem is deeper. And I gotta say, to everybody, I appreciate everyone who joined the stream. I do apologize for anyone who came in earlier. Again, if you haven't joined the Discord channel, make sure you do. We will definitely talk more. And if anyone is into a PC build, please check out the website, chrismiso.com, where you can just easily go to the Discord channel and contact me there. If you want something custom built, feel free to let me know. And also, if you need any PC help or tech questions, or if you need help with a build, feel free to ask. There is no cost in the Discord channel. Everybody likes to help each other out. We have our guy in here, Casa, who is the mod of our Discord channel. He's a great guy, so you can certainly feel free to ask him any questions as well. And he comes out with some great ideas. I appreciate everybody's hard work out there. And I'm glad you found us too, 5-star. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe to us. And I'm glad that for everyone who has joined in, make sure to feel free to join the join the free giveaway. We would all appreciate it too. And everybody out there made this possible. So definitely make sure to tune in on Saturday, and we'll definitely do a lot more. We'll hook up the 9070 XT and run some tests. And I appreciate everybody once again. I appreciate it, 5-star. I appreciate the sub. Yes, I appreciate it, Daxish. I appreciate you guys. I really love you all. Thanks for joining the wonderful fan bam, and we will certainly talk more. And don't be afraid to ask any questions. We will always help each other out. That's what I love about the PC community out there. So thanks again so much for coming in and joining the stream. Thanks again. And have a great night or a great morning, depending where you are in the world.